Ampun tuanku, sembah Patih mohon diampun. Patih meminta izin tuanku bercakap dalam bahasa Inggeris. Ampun tuanku. Tuanku, you have no idea how happy I am to see you installed as DYMM Agong of Malaysia. Let me just introduce myself. I'm Dr. K.N. Singh from Johor Bahru. My association with the Pahang royal family goes back nearly 47 years, Tuanku, when I was posted to Pekan as the medical officer in charge of the Pekan District Hospital. I was just married and lived in Pekan. I was very warmly welcomed by your grandfather, the late Sultan Abu Bakar, who invited me to play tennis every evening with him when I could get away from work. He was a very caring, kind man, and I remember he once stopped me when I was behind his motor coach that drove around Pekan every evening, and he asked me where I was going. I said I was going to the hospital. He then asked me why wasn't I overtaking him and going straight to the hospital. So I told him, Tuanku, that is the protocol. You do not overtake the royal motorcade. He said, this does not apply to a doctor who is going to hospital. Please go and look after my people first. No need to let me pass or wait for me. I was very touched that, and after that his outriders insisted I go past him. And Tuanku, I see the same generosity that your grandfather has in you when we saw that you had bought food for all those who were outside the istana when there was a problem the last time. I was invited for all polo matches and had the ambulance standing by for accidents, and you had a few falls after very rough polo games, but fortunately, apart from the few scratches, you had no broken bones. I also followed Sultan Abu Bakar on his district visits and remember him going to Polo Tioman for a weekend stay as the guest of Datin Kobat. The Sultan knew that I was just married, and the Sultana invited my wife to come along, even though it was an official visit and we do not take families. We boarded the KD Hang Tuah, that was his official transport to Pulau Tioman, and a big party with all the villagers, the Pangulus, dancing, dinner after an evening of tennis. Sadly, Sultan Abu Bakar had a massive heart attack and he passed away while I was still there in Pekan, after which Sultan Ahmad Shah, your late father, was then declared the Sultan of Pahang. I was actually due on transfer, but he asked me to stay back until his coronation a few months later. After the coronation, I was transferred to Johor Bahru, but was invited to his birthday celebration and was awarded the PJK Pahang. My last visit to Pekan was when Sultana, your mother, passed away, and I paid a condolence visit. You have no idea how happy it makes me to see you, a carefree young boy in 1974, now a man who is the Agong of my beloved country, Malaysia. I'm really sad that the present government is not following any protocol and showing the Agong total disrespect. In the reconvened parliament on July 27th, I was shocked that the ministers did not follow protocol, and the law minister declared that the cabinet had declared that the emergency was over. And this cannot be done because the emergency was declared by the Agong at the advice of the Prime Minister, and the cabinet cannot possibly declare that the emergency was over without consultation with the Agong. The law minister actually forgot 2 more steps before any declaration could be issued. Step 1, the Prime Minister had to ask the MPs to give him a mandate in a show of confidence so that he could be the Prime Minister, as Tun Hussein On had done when he was appointed Prime Minister by the King. The second thing he forgot is that he had to inform the DYMM that the emergency was no longer needed, so he could declare that the emergency has ended. And there is no way the Law Minister can announce that the emergency has ended without informing you, Tuanku. We, the Rakyat, take this as an insult to our ruler, and we hope Your Majesty, together with the fellow rulers, will look into this breach of protocol of our beloved country for their political gain. With 17,000 cases a day with COVID and people dying every day, not only of COVID, but committing suicides as they have lost their jobs and cannot sustain their families. I appeal to you, Tuanku, in your collective wisdom with your fellow rulers to stop this government from doing damage to our country, especially as we are already suffering from a mismanaged COVID pandemic. Ampun Tuanku, beribu-ribu ampun.